morning, YouTube. We're ready for another adventure. This one is travel day, going to Medford, Oregon, taking the Chaser, not the Pro car. Pro car ended up getting rod knock, unfortunately. So we're just getting everything ready. I really think this car is going to be competitive at this event. I just took it for a rip-a-rooney last night, and it's really good. Spins tire in third gear, no problem. It's got plenty of power. It drives really good. It's got good angle. I'm really comfortable behind the wheel, and I think it's going to be awesome. So a couple things we're doing to get ready. We have to modify our oil pump setup. When I say oil pump, I mean the way that we transfer fuel from where we get it to our fuel tank. It's got a couple of pumps. I'll show you the setup here. We have two pumps. We have a filter. We have the suction line, which we want to be long enough that we can reach different tank setups. So like if we want to pump from someone's facility, or like, you know, if we find a big drum like that, we need to back up to it. We want enough hose that we don't need to, that we can actually reach like 20 or 30 feet. So, and then on the other side, we have the outlet hose that goes to a pump nozzle. So it's a pretty good setup, but the way we run it before, it was always a mess. That is a loud truck. It's really hard to keep this box clean, so we're trying to make a design that's a little bit easier to use and a little bit easier to keep clean. So that's one thing we've been wanting to upgrade for a while. Aside from that, we got the truck pretty well loaded down. We're bringing as many wheels and tires as we can fit on here. It's supposed to rain on Saturday. I'm hoping they postpone the comp or run it early or whatever, so it's not a problem. I really don't want to drift in the rain. I don't want to compete in the rain, I should say. I like drifting in the rain, but I don't want to compete in the rain. Other than that, this truck's pretty well set up and ready to go on this trip. I did put that big turbo on. It is too big for the truck. We didn't have time to swap it, so we're just gonna have to run it with a ton of boost lag. I figure once we're on the freeway, we'll be cruising and going all right. But made this temporary bash bar because I didn't have any good materials, so we had to scab together a bunch of random roll cage tubing that I had. But I really wanted something to protect in case I do rub on transitions, that it's not going to smash my fenders or my hood or my headlights or anything like that. So hopefully that's enough to protect it. And I keep saying this, but the only thing I'm concerned about is getting these front doors hit. I can handle a fender hit, I can handle a rear door hit, I can handle a rear fender hit, I can handle a rear hit. I just can't handle a front door hit. So I really, really hope that doesn't happen. So we had to stop off for our last drink stop before we hit the road. Finally got the transmission lines fixed. And Jesse was asking me why I grab extra straws. I think maybe I talked about this on one video before, but I'm very particular about the size of the straw, right? You got your fat straw, and then you got your skinny straw. I don't have an example here because I do not keep skinny straws on me at all times. Fat straw, good intake, right? You get a skinny straw, it changes the amount of bubbles going through the straw, it changes everything, the drink tastes different, no good. I keep fat straws on me in the door pocket at all times. That way if I stop somewhere that doesn't have a fat straw, I can pull one out, slam it in my drink, and be on my way. All right, so obviously before any trip we go on, we gotta gas up. And we gas up a little bit different around here. We're actually pulling from this tank through these pumps. And then we got some onboard fuel storage, 55 gallons times 2, plus there's fuel in this, and then the onboard tank. So we should, with all this, be able to get all the way to Medford and back for free, absolutely no cost, other than these pumps and filters. Aside from that, there's a little bit of a transmission leak going on this thing. And I'm like, oh, we'll just keep topping it off, but like I'm actually a little bit worried that it could turn into something big, because that's what tends to happen. If I ignore things like that, they usually fail at the worst time. So I'm trying to diagnose what's going on. There's the transmission cooler lines that go from the trans up to the cooler. I literally just did the radiator like last week, and so I'm looking like maybe the lines got moved and they rubbed through or something, but they're really hard to see under there, and everything's covered in oil. Another couple cool things I did. I bought this PCV vent on these valve covers, and that goes pre-turbo, so it's sucking in any oil vapor from there. And then we have this catch can that I had already set up that comes from the side cover over there that has 2 -10 fittings in it. So it's got lots of breather capacity. I think this engine's old, tired, has lots of blow-by. So instead of rebuilding it right away, I just did a lot more PCV stuff until I have time this winter to go through this motor. Yeah, but overall pretty happy with the truck. I just need to put a smaller turbo housing on it. So about that transmission line, Tyler convinced us to fix it. He's like, you know what, Wicknick, we both know how this is gonna end. So we stopped by Shagunja. That's what I call your shop.
Sugar Ninja?
No, Sugar Ninja.
That's what Michael calls it.
And Tyler's like, you know what? We both know what's gonna happen. You're gonna be doing this on the side of the road in the middle of the night. Just fix it right now. I just really want to be on the road, but at the same time, I just know it's a line rubbing through another line, and that doesn't get better. Those don't fix themselves. So here we find ourselves in Tyler's parking lot, fixing the truck. And then Jesse, at the same time, I was like, hey Jesse, you want to spray that bash bar? So he's got the bash bar over there on the train tracks, spraying black paint on it. Good times. And so we'll be in Oregon at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So, but luckily Jesse's gonna drive all night while I sleep, right Jesse?
I guess.
Just another Wicknick trip. Got my Power Probe 3, finally putting it to work. Just got this thing the other day. And I've got a JZX90 cluster here. And I didn't have the connectors for the back, so I'm actually soldering straight to the ribbon board. And I'm not doing everything, I'm just doing some of the basic stuff that I need for Drift Week, which are the turn signal indicators. Because every car I've had without indicators, I end up leaving the turn signals on for way too long. And aside from that, I'm putting power and ground, I'm putting lights in there. Basically like some of the basic stuff, but it's kind of a mess on the back here. And we're actually in the middle of a road trip, and I've got this set up with the soldering iron going to a inverter under the hood, and then extension cord running in here. And that's how I've been soldering all this stuff in the bumpy road, kind of doing this whole number. But so far it's good. I think when I get to the track, I'll be able to just butt connector these all together and make it work, and then screw the cluster in. So what I've been doing is using this razor blade to scratch the surface so the solder will stick to it. And then I've been able to get it to a tin with just dipping some solder on, but it's such a thin plastic ribbon that if you keep the heat on too long, the ribbon separates from the plastic. It's really hard to solder to. So you gotta be really quick and dip it on there. It's not easy with all the bumps in the road. Jesse,
what's up?
Can you not hit the bumps in the road?
I will do my best.
Might be the most difficult soldering I've ever done. Like a good challenge. So I tin the wire a little bit. Where are we at? Get some solder on the wire, get some solder on the board. Then when I heat this up, just touch it, and I don't need to keep the heat on for very long. This will be the power for the lights. So basically I got the lights wired up so far. So when I put in the car, I'll be able to light up the cluster, which is one of my biggest concerns, at least for the event tomorrow. I just like having a lit cluster in my face. I don't know why. And then the fuel gauge was the other important one. I want to wire up the fuel gauge so I know how much fuel's in the tank, so I don't run out. Here's the soldering setup. It's coming through the dashboard onto the floor, and then right to the soldering iron. And I'm actually surprised the inverter that I have up there is strong enough to run this soldering iron. I don't know how much power it takes, but it works. It's hot. Most importantly though is my trusty Power Probe. I gotta test out the cluster and make sure it works. drive with the Power Pro. Turn signal. Turn signal. Perfect. I love it. Late night fuel stop. We gotta pump fuel on the side of the road. It's getting cold up here, so the pump, well, first of all, we're down one pump. Second of all, the fuel was really cold because it's cold outside. It's like probably 50, 40 something, 50. And so it's taking forever to pump. And the oil we got also is diesel oil, so it's like 1540 or 2050 or whatever, and it's really thick. Anyways, we're like an hour and a half from the Airbnb. It is 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, because we drove back an hour. And I've been sleeping half the way. Jesse's been doing most of the work tonight, but I think the driver's meeting is at noon, so we're gonna crash out for at least a few hours. Probably be a little bit late getting in, but Friday's just practice, so I'm not stressing, like, you know, I'm not trying to wear out the car or like kill a bunch of tires until it's time to really like get into it. So I think the car is gonna be perfect. Wouldn't be a proper trip without some sort of a problem. The oil's so thick that it blew out the O-ring on the fast pump filter and drained our entire tank all over the front of the trailer and all over the front of the car. So I'm super stoked about that because we did such a good job of keeping the car clean by fixing all the leaks before we left, and it wasn't enough. So we're literally like in the road because the truck just died on Jesse. Like, there's nowhere to go, and then there's not a big enough shoulder even to pull off. So like, he got over about as far as he could, and we're just in the middle of the road pumping fuel and fix the O-ring, and I hope it works. Oh man, and we're what, like an hour away? We made a 12-hour drive, and we're 1 hour from our destination and have this major problem. It's not major, I just threaded the filter on, but we're pumping fuel on the side of the road. What an adventure. Ready for sleep. You ready for sleep?
Yeah, this is sketchy.
I mean, luckily there's not that much traffic,
Yeah.
but some guy just came blowing past us in the other lane at like 100 miles an hour. Like, come on.
You showing off.
Come on, but it's beautiful. Look at the trees. This is where the big cats live, in those trees, and bears.
Bears, lots
Yeah.
of bear.
Hey, bear.
Hey, bear.
So we decided we're gonna try and pump and ride at the same time. We got all this stuff set up, pumping out of the tank, right into here. As we're going down the road, we just want to get out of here because of that spill we got there. We don't want the cops showing up. All right, we finally made it. I just had to stop off at Walmart and Harbor Freight, grab a pump from Harbor Freight. I'm gonna grab some car wash stuff from Walmart. This car got it pretty bad as far as like oil on everything. So I'm also gonna stop at the car wash before we go to sleep because I just want to take a nap and then go to the track. Look how bad that is. All down the side. That stuff doesn't come off easily either. Reminds me of that scene out of Initial D when the engine blows up and he's got oil coming out of the side of the hood. Oh man, so we made it to Medford, to the Airbnb. It was a long night. It's kind of rough. Super tired when we got here, so we just crashed out. Of course, I stopped and washed the car because it was covered in oil. I didn't want to leave it parked, just like with oil dripping everywhere. And you can see it kind of did drip on the ground from the back of the truck, but at least I got the car clean. And now it's like 2 o'clock. Driver's meeting, I think, was at 11, and driving started at noon. So I really want to get to the track and at least get some shakedown laps, because the weather shows rain all day tomorrow. So I want to get some dry laps today. So at least I have, I can get comfortable and dialed in this car on this track. I've literally got probably hundreds of laps at this track over the last 7 years or something. And so I'm not concerned about knowing the layout or being able to drive here. I just want to get comfortable in this car on this track with whatever tires I'm going to use. So let's go. This is the gas station closest to the track in Medford. And I remember this from last time I was here. You got Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s old car still in the car wash here. What a stud. Looks like. Get a shot of it while it's still got clean doors. I wonder if this has power. We can charge stuff in here anyways. So after the first couple laps, roll it up. After the first couple laps, I had a car full of people. It was a lot of fun. This car was shredding. It has a lot of grip. It was like actually scooting. It felt really good. But the diff was making more noise. I don't know if I mentioned on any of my videos, but this diff sounds like it's missing a tooth or something. Still working, but it's like it could fail at any time, right? And I'm putting grippier tires than I've ever had on here, so like I'm kind of worried about that. I brought 2 spare diffs. Neither of them are welded, so I was just telling Jesse we should probably drive a little bit tonight. Tomorrow I don't think we're competing. Tomorrow's just a rain day. What's funny, I was just thinking about this. Every time I've broken a diff, it's always been in the rain. Diff for axles has always been in the rain, and I don't understand it. I think I was asking Taka once, and he said it's because you don't have the consistent forward grip. Your axles are going left and right a little bit, and it puts so much weird load on the diff that it'll snap stuff. When the load is shared perfectly equal between both, it can handle it. But when you have like this split second of load on one axle, it's carrying twice the load essentially. And anyways, so I might actually break a different axle tomorrow. But I have 2 spare diffs. We need to weld one to get it ready. So if we have to like swap one in a hurry, or if this gets worse tonight or tomorrow, we can swap it before the comp on Sunday. So that's something to consider. But it's driving really good. The angle feels really good. Everything feels really good. The one thing we did is we Kelly and Jake wired the fuel pump so it has more amperage to it, because we were having a fuel starvation issue, or like a low fuel pressure issue. And I checked everything at the track, couldn't figure it out. And then Jake was like, it's probably actually gonna be like an amperage issue, because it's a Hellcat pump that pulls a ton of amps. And so it just needs upgraded wiring. So hopefully that's fixed. I haven't really tested it since then, so we're about to go out and do some logs right now, turn the boost up a little bit, and see what we get out of it. It's getting a little bit windy. It's gonna start raining here in a second, which will be good because I can save tires, but it won't allow me to really put load on it. So I wanna go do a couple pulls while it's still dry. And I'm still just really nervous. I had to tell someone I didn't want to tandem, and I felt like such a weenie, being like, no, dude, I'm not comfortable tandeming. But really, like, it's not worth it to me to have a little bit of fun to possibly have my door crunched. It's just like, I gotta keep my eye on the prize, which is I'm not here for fun. I'm here to win this car and not crunch an irreplaceable door or a very difficult to replace door. So it's hard to do. And I've always had fun at this track, and I'm like, yeah, it's fun. I'm like, no, I can't have fun. Slap you on the wrist. No, stop it. Or the ruler, the Catholic nun. Stop it. 46%. Not bad. Need a little bit more ethanol in there. We'll do some laps. We'll get it above 50%, filling it up, and then we'll go turn the boost up. We're about to hit the track. I guess Rudy ran into someone. I'm not trying to tandem with anybody right now. Like, it's not worth it. These guys are going hard, and like I'm not trying to go hard. You got to save that for when it's the time to do it, you know. And especially in this car. I don't know. I'm just really trying to play it cool. Oh, it's not recording. Push play up there. The red button up there.
I don't see the mouse. There it is. Where? Recording now? Woo! Is he competing?
I don't know. So we did a few wet laps, and then a few dry laps, and then a few semi-wet, semi-dry, and I'm trying to conserve tire. So I have these Achilles that are from 2014. The other ones I thought were 14, but those were 2018. These ones are 2014, but it's a little bit wet, so I'm just trying to go through, like, I'm just trying to use up the tires that I'm not trying to use for comp, just so I can get some seat time, some fun seat time. But why am I laying on the ground underneath the car? Let me explain. There was some noises. I thought the diff was going bad, which I'm not convinced that it's not going bad, but the noises were definitely from the axles. You hear that? So there's axle slop on both sides, which is not a huge deal. Like, I deal with that in the S13s, and they'll go for quite a while before they break. As long as I know that there's axle noise, I can deal with it. But there was another noise, and I didn't bother checking it because I thought it was the axles, but then Jesse's like, hey, your wheel's moving quite a bit. And so I climbed under here, and Jesse's wiggling the wheel. And let me show. You want to wiggle it, Jesse? There's Jesse.
It's gone.
Oh, I guess I tightened it enough. It was this Heim joint. Let me loosen it so we can demonstrate.
A reenactment.
Yeah, You like reenacting losing? Inside joke. Okay, do it. Yeah. That's what was happening. And so every time I'd transition, we'd go slam, 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 slam. And I thought it was the diff moving around, actually. But now I know what it is. And I wasn't going to figure it out. Jesse actually figured it out. So props to Jesse. Jesse's a tier 3 mechanic. Tier 1's the best.
Tier 1.
You're
Tier 5 then.
You're moving your way up the chain. Congrats on your blue collar achievement.
Yes.
So something's wrong with the this rear wheel. Trenton just told me to stop driving on track, and so he's driving it in for me. Go! I think the wheel spacer's broken or something. No, let's run it. Jack it all the way up and let's run it. So we're trying to see what's going on with. Nah, that side's not doing it, is it?
No, it's definitely.
It is.
Yeah, look at it.
Oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong.
Oh yeah.
The
Are the nuts backing out?
the studs coming out of the spacer are too long, and those wheels don't have the.
Oh, they don't have the holes for them.
Yeah.
You grind the studs off.
Yeah, we gotta grind the studs off. That's pretty bad.
I guess my opinion was
Okay,
right, though.
what? What were you gonna say?
At this
Well,
point,
I was gonna
mean,
say if it was a new box of stance coilovers.
Oh my gosh! Come on, come on. You wanna plug your coilovers?
I'm just kidding.
Plug your coilovers.
No, that's it. That's it. You know,
Trenton has coilovers for sale. If you have a JZX
I mean, if you want to say
or an
15%
IS300.
or more on your car insurance,
Don't.
switch to Geico coilovers.
Geico coilovers are the best coilovers.
Yeah.
The best.
Okay.
here.
You had your chance, but now no longer can you plug your coilovers. Trenton doesn't have coilovers for sale. They're not special edition. They're not for JZX. Don't even look them up. White plate.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a day. What a day. Started raining a little bit. We got some laps in the rain. It was kind of fun. Then it dried out, then it rained, then it dried out, then it rained. The diff is sounding pretty questionable right now. So I think tomorrow what we're gonna do, it's supposed to be raining all day. We'll do some laps, but I'm gonna weld the spare diff that I brought. I brought an open diff. I just grabbed it. It's like, oh, we better bring this with us. Turns out it's an open diff or LSD, I'm not sure. But either way, I wanna make sure it's welded. So we're gonna weld that up, put it in the car at some point tomorrow to eliminate the possibility of breaking a diff in the middle of comp or something like that. But I was gonna try and wire the dash in tonight, so we came back to the Airbnb, but I left my power probe, which is probably the most important tool that I need for doing this job, at the track. So now we're just sitting here watching King of the Hill and eating pizza. So just chilling. But that's it for today's video. tomorrow we're gonna do qualifying, and then Sunday is all of top 32 comp stuff. So don't really have a lot going on tomorrow as far as that goes. So I want to spend some time working on the car, making sure it's 100%. And I don't want anything to take us out, anything mechanical that we could prevent beforehand. So we'll do as much as we can tomorrow to make sure that's good. We're gonna do some toe adjustment in the rear after I tighten those arms up that Jesse found loose. It feels, we drove the car from the track back to the Airbnb, and it feels like the car's darting around the road a little bit. So I think it might be towed out in the rear. So I want to double check toe in the front and the rear, and just make sure that stuff is all good, so the car drives as good as possible. But that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out my merch store if you would, and give this video a like and subscribe if you're into it. If you're not, don't do it, but still check out my merch store. I'll leave the link in the description below. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Kelly likes his car like he likes his eggs.